Applying Matthew 2 to daily life. I can see that you want to understand the teachings of Scripture better. Let's explore the second chapter of Matthew together. This passage speaks about my childhood, but it holds profound lessons for your life today. Notice how the wise men from the East sought the truth with determination, just as you are doing now as you study these words. The journey of the Magi teaches us that seeking God requires persistence and courage. They traveled through unknown lands, faced dark nights and doubts, but never gave up. In your life, when the challenges of faith seem too great, remember that every step you take toward me is a victorious step. Your determination to study the Word, even when you don't understand everything, is already a form of worship that touches my heart. The Magi didn't have all the answers, but they had enough to keep going, and I guided them to their destination. In the same way, I am guiding you through the questions and uncertainties you face today. Herod represents all the obstacles that try to divert you from the path of truth. He used beautiful words and feigned spiritual interest, but his heart was full of lies. How often do you encounter voices like this in your life? People, ideas, or even fears that seem spiritual, but really want to keep you from my purpose. The wisdom of the Magi teaches us to discern. They listened to Herod, but they kept following the star. When you don't know who or what to believe, fix your eyes on my word. It will always shine brightly, showing you the right path, even when many voices try to confuse you. The gifts of the Magi reveal how your life can be an offering that pleases me. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh were not random gifts. Each represented a part of my character and mission. Your talents, time, and resources also have profound meaning when given with love. What you hold in your hands can become sacred when offered with a pure heart. Do not underestimate the value of what you can give me. The Magi brought their best, and I received it with joy. Your life, with all its abilities and limitations, is a precious gift when placed in my hands. The flight into Egypt shows that my ways of protecting you are not always obvious. Joseph obeyed immediately when I warned him of danger, even though he did not fully understand the plan. How many times have I protected you from situations you did not even realize? When things do not go as expected, it may be me working behind the scenes for your good. Trust that I see the danger before you do, and my guidance, whether through the Bible, prayer, or wise counsel, is always aimed at protecting you. Immediate obedience, like Joseph's, is your greatest security in times of crisis. The wise men returned by another path because a real encounter with me changed directions. They could not continue living as before after meeting me. This is a powerful truth for your life today. A genuine experience with my word should change your way of thinking, your choices, and your priorities. If you read the Bible and pray, but continue to make the same questionable decisions, we need to talk more deeply. My desire is not to superficially adjust your life, but to completely transform it from the inside out. Every Bible study, every moment of prayer, is an opportunity for this radical change. The whole story reveals that I am in control, even when everything seems chaotic. Herod was plotting evil. The families in Bethlehem were mourning. My family was in a foreign country, and yet every detail served a greater purpose. In your life, when nothing makes sense, remember that my promises never fail. What I said I would do, I will do. Your part is to continue trusting, obeying, and taking one step at a time, as the Magi did. The star that guided them still shines, today through my word, and it is pointing directly to the love and purpose I have prepared especially for you. When the Magi saw the star, they didn't just gaze. They took action. This teaches us that true knowledge should lead us to action. How many times have I shown you paths, but fear of leaving your comfort zone kept you from moving forward? Their journey was long and full of uncertainty, but the reward was finding what really mattered. The faith of the Magi shows us that true worship requires movement. They did not wait for perfect conditions to begin their journey. They took their resources, left their land, and began their journey without human assurances. In your life, how many times have you waited for a final confirmation before obeying what you already know to be my will? The faith that pleases God is the one that acts even when there are still unanswered questions. Your steps of obedience, taken in the midst of doubt, are more valuable than all human certainty without action. The Magi endured nights without seeing the star, but they kept going. There were times when the heavenly sign disappeared, and they had to trust in the direction I had already given them. Such are the difficult times on your journey, when answers do not come clearly, and you must continue to trust in what I have already shown you. These dark nights of faith are not an absence of my care, but opportunities for your trust in me to grow deeper. When you cannot see my hand, hold on to my promises. The journey required the Magi to leave behind security and comfort. They traded the known for the unknown because they valued finding me more than their own stability. What am I asking you to leave behind today? Whether it is a relationship, a habit, or even personal plans, know that nothing you give up to follow me will go unrewarded. The Magi returned home transformed, not impoverished. Every surrender made out of love for me turns into eternal gain. The gifts they brought reveal that true worship has a cost. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh were valuable. They represented the best of their resources. Many today want to worship me without sacrificing anything, but the worship that pleases me involves giving of what is precious. I'm not just talking about money, but your time, your talents, your attention. When you invest the best of yourself in our relationship, you are following the example of the wise men who understood that nothing is too precious to offer to the King. Their joy at seeing the star again, Matthew 2:10, shows that seeking me brings exciting rewards. This overflowing joy is available to you every time you persevere in faith and see my guiding hand. Many people give up just before the blessing because they are tired of waiting. But I say, keep going. Your perseverance will be rewarded with moments of indescribable joy when you will clearly see how I have guided you every step of the way. The journey may be long, but every moment is worth it when you finally find me where I have led you. Eventually, the wise men returned by another path because no one finds the true God and remains the same. They could not return to Herod. Their encounter with me required a new route. Likewise, when you truly encounter me through the word and prayer, you cannot continue to live in the same old patterns. A transformation begins to take place. New values, new priorities, new paths. Do not fear these changes, for they are proof that you are truly knowing me. Let me lead you on new and better paths, as I did with those wise men so long ago. Herod said he wanted to worship me, but his heart was full of deceit. How many people today profess to believe but live as if I make no difference? Be genuine in your walk. It is not enough to just talk pretty words. Your life must be in harmony with what you say you believe. Herod's danger lies in his ability to deceive himself. He believed he could manipulate the magicians and even deceive God with his religious words. How many today live under this same illusion? They think they can keep one foot in the world and one foot in faith, that they can negotiate with sin while maintaining a semblance of godliness. But I see beyond the masks. I see the heart. Your life doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be authentic. Bring me your doubts, your struggles, your weaknesses, but don't come to me with honoring lips while your heart is far away. Herod represented religion without transformation. He knew the prophecies, Matthew 2:4-5, but that knowledge only served his own selfish purposes. This warns us of one of the greatest spiritual dangers, accumulating biblical knowledge without allowing it to transform your character. You can master theology, quote verses, and still be as far from me as Herod. I'm not interested in how many verses you have memorized, but in how many truths are shaping your character and your daily choices. Herod's reaction to being deceived, Matthew 2:16, reveals the fury of wounded pride. When he realized he was not in control, his response was violent. How often do you react with lightning or bitterness when things don't go as planned? A heart that is not submitted to God will always seek to control others. But I offer you a better way, the way of surrender, where you exchange the need to control for the peace of trusting in my perfect rule over your life. Herod built his life on the pursuit of power and self-preservation. In the end, everything he had so cherished was lost. This teaches us that a life centered on self will always end in emptiness. What are you building on? Your ambitions, your reputation, your financial security? Or are you building your life on the eternal truths of my kingdom? Everything that is built on me will remain. Everything built on the quicksand of ego will end up like Herod's reign, forgotten and meaningless. The contrast between Herod and the Magi is stark. While one feigned worship to maintain his power, the other gave up everything to worship truly. This difference continues today. Whose side are you on? Among those who use religion for personal gain, or among those who are willing to pay the price of true devotion? Make no mistake, you cannot serve two masters. Each day brings the choice to follow the example of Herod or the example of the Magi. Finally, Herod's story reminds us that sin always promises what it cannot deliver. He killed innocent children trying to preserve his throne, but ended up losing everything. Sin in your life makes the same empty promise. It offers happiness but brings slavery. It promises life but pays with death. When you are tempted to negotiate with sin, remember Herod's end. I offer you a better way, the way of truth, which, though it may sometimes require sacrifice, always leads to the abundant life your heart truly yearns for. Choose today whom you will serve, the God of self or the God who loves you unconditionally. The scholars of the day knew exactly where I would be born, but none bothered to go there. This warns us of a real danger. You can know the entire Bible and still lose sight of me. Knowledge of the scriptures should draw you closer to me, not just fill you with information. Let the word transform your heart, not just your mind. These scholars were experts in prophecy, but they failed to recognize the fulfillment of prophecy before their eyes. They could debate the details of the Messiah, but when he arrived, they were so busy with their interpretations that they missed the truth. How many today study theology and discuss doctrines, but have no eyes to see where I am working around them? Do not let your knowledge of me become an obstacle to truly knowing me. The word should lead you into a relationship, not just an intellectual debate. They knew the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, but they didn't think it was important to make the short trip to find out. Sometimes the obedience I ask of you doesn't involve great sacrifices, but simple acts of faith, a difficult conversation, a step of humility, a time of prayer. It's not great distances that keep people from finding me, but the refusal to take the small steps needed. What I'm asking you to do today may seem insignificant, but it's essential to your spiritual growth. The priests and scribes were so concerned with religion that they missed the Savior. They guarded the temple, but they failed to recognize the one whom the temple represented. This happens even today when people put tradition, rituals, or religious structures above their relationship with me. Your faith should not be about fulfilling obligations, but about cultivating a heart that seeks me above all else. Don't make the mistake of loving religion more than the God it's supposed to represent. They had enough knowledge to inform Herod, but not enough faith to keep up with the Magi. How many today are quick to teach others, but slow to practice what they preach? You can explain complex doctrines, but if you are not living the simplicity of love and grace, your knowledge is worthless. Don't be like these scholars. Let each truth you learn become a stepping stone to a deeper life with me, not just a topic for discussion. The tragedy is that these men were so close geographically, yet so far away spiritually. They were just a few miles from the greatest event in history, but spiritually light years away. This is a warning. You can be involved in religious activities surrounded by believers, even serving in church, and still be spiritually distant from me. Physical proximity to sacred things does not guarantee intimacy with a holy God. What matters is not where you are, but who you are seeking with all your heart. Finally, this story shows us that biblical knowledge without love becomes sterile. These men could quote Micah 5:2, but they did not have enough love to seek the fulfillment of prophecy. Likewise, you can memorize entire books of the Bible, But if you do not have love, all is in vain. 1 Corinthians 13:2. Let each verse you study ignite in your heart a deeper love for me and for the people I have placed in your life. That is, the true purpose of knowing the Scriptures, to transform you into my love, so that the world may see my glory through your life. Joseph heard my voice in a dream and obeyed immediately, even though he did not understand everything. When I speak to your heart through circumstances, people, and whether you read the wise men or the Bible itself, you will have the same choice he did: trust and act, or question and stand still. Obedience brings protection. Just as I delivered my family from danger, I guide your steps when you follow me wholeheartedly. The gifts I received, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, were not random. Each revealed something about my purpose. If I have placed gifts and talents in your life, they also have a greater meaning. Do not use them just for your own benefit, but to reveal who I am through you. What you hold in your hands can bless others if it is given with love and wisdom. Akahai's family had to flee to Egypt in a hurry. Sometimes I allow sudden changes in your life not as punishment, but as protection. What seems like an interruption in your plans may be me working to protect you from dangers you do not see. Trust me, even when the path seems uncertain or difficult. The wise men returned by another path after finding me. A true encounter with me always leads in a new direction. If your life is exactly the same after reading the Bible and praying, we need to talk more. My presence transforms, not just your thoughts, but your daily choices and attitudes. Herod was furious when he realized he had been deceived. The world reacts with hatred when it realizes it cannot control those who truly follow me. Don't be surprised if, as you live authentically for me, you face resistance. But remember, I have overcome the world, and my victory is yours too. Keep going, no matter the pressure around you. My family only returned to Israel when the danger had passed. I teach you about timing, knowing when to move forward and when to wait. Patience is not passivity, but wisdom in action. Rest in the knowledge that I see the big picture while you see only a small part of the story. The religious leaders were disturbed by the news of my birth. Some people are bothered when I work in ways they don't understand or control. Don't let traditions or human expectations limit your vision of what I can do in your life. I often go beyond what you imagine or expect. The wise men rejoiced exceedingly when they saw the star. That joy is available to you every day, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because finding me is the greatest joy there is. When all seems dark, look up and seek my light. It always shines for those who are willing to see. Joseph could have doubted the dream, but he chose to believe. Faith is not the absence of doubt, but the decision to trust even when questions remain. When I speak to your heart, you will have the same choice: rationalize or obey. My guidance will not always make sense at the time, but it always leads to the best path. The wise men traveled together. No one walks alone in faith. I have placed people around you not by accident, but by purpose. Cherish the community of faith. Together we are stronger, wiser, and more encouraged. Don't try to navigate this journey in isolation. Let others help you see what you may be missing. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh were expensive gifts. True, worship demands something from you: time, resources, love. Don't just bring me what's left over, but put the best of your life in my hands. When you offer your best with a sincere heart, I transform it into something beautiful and meaningful. My protection over your family has not eliminated all hardships. Being my follower does not mean the absence of challenges, but the certainty that I am with you through each one. Storms will come, but you are not alone in the boat. My peace is available even in the most turbulent moments. The Magi came all this way because they recognized something special. Have you ever stopped to consider how extraordinary my presence in your life is? Don't treat me as ordinary or routine. Each day with me is an opportunity to discover new depths of my love and purpose for you. This whole story shows that I am in control, Even when everything seems chaotic, Herod's plans could not stop my purpose. Difficult circumstances did not cancel the promises. What I said I would do in your life, I will do, no matter what tries to oppose it. Your part is to continue to trust and obey one step at a time. Finally, remember, this story is not just about the past. I continue to guide, protect, and speak to you today. You may not see a star in the sky, but my light shines into your life through the word, prayer, and community of faith. Keep your eyes open. I am working around you in ways you will only fully understand when you look back. This is the message of Matthew 2. I never lose sight of you. From the smallest details to the biggest decisions, I am involved in every part of your life story. Trust that today and let that truth shape how you live, love, and move forward. If you believe these words of mine, say amen.